listen here, girl. I know you think it's a game, but it is absolutely not, okay? This is the energy supplement from Just Move Supplements. That's right. It's damn near all gone, girl. And that's because I had to get that energy up so I can complete the workout, so I can give y'all this body, this transformation, get into it, okay? And I'm done working out now, so that's why we're moving on to the protein shake. Oh yes, it's already in there, girl. It's already made right here. This is the mixture of the banana pudding, the chocolate cake, and the buttercream cupcake. And you really want to be fancy, you can go ahead and add that blueberry muffin if that's what you want to do, girl. But for me, it's these three right here, okay? You put that with some almond milk, you mix it all up in honey, okay? Your muscles have gained life, new energy, agility. Get into it, okay? Just Move Supplements. Thank you very much. Hold up, Chief. Okay, don't forget about that TLC NutriBurst to get that multivitamin probably, because we all need a little extra. And child, if you want that sea moss that go down smooth, don't come up rough, okay? Get into the TLC Nautica sea moss. Yes, get that from me. And child, if your stomach hurt and you need to move some things around so you can be free, okay, go ahead and get that ISO tea down below in the description box. Get it all from me. Come on in, come on in, come on in, not come on in, not come. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird, whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Yes, everybody be back. What's going on? We're back. We back. Listen, I wanted to get into it, so I'm happy about it. I hope y'all are having a good day. I hope y'all were able to catch the earlier live. Okay. Hold up, y'all. Let me see something. Okay. All right. It's just new things are being said. Okay. It was some type of update, girl. All right. And so we're just we're trying to make sure it's all moving as it should. But what's going on, everybody? All right. We got a couple of topics to get through today. All right. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Hold up. That's my list for the grocery store. All right. So Yandy, Jay-Z, Charlamagne and Mustache, Luigi Mangione, or whatever the old boy name is, Jamie Foxx, Amanda Seales, Andrea Kelly. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Okay. And before we get into that, again, y'all know what y'all need to do. Sign up for Reset by Design Wellness. Okay. If you're trying to luxuriate, if you're trying to relax, relate, release, if you're trying to form a bond with like-minded women who just want to relax in a luxury atmosphere that they didn't have to orchestrate themselves, well, this is the right damn place for you. Reset by Design Wellness. Follow us on Instagram. Okay. Now, y'all know StreamYard, the internet, things are acting weird today. Instagram was acting weird today. Who knows how this live will go? So please, if you care about me at all, keep me abreast of what's going on. Keep me abreast. Thank you. All right. So where do I want to start? I feel like I want to start Gosh G Willikers. Let's start with the CEO, the healthcare, because there's been so much stuff. I feel like I've been gone for a minute, but now I'm back with the jump off. So there's a lot of things to talk about. But we discussed this last week on the Ooh Ladies First panel about the CEO. Okay. And we're just gonna run down the timeline. Okay. Investigators at the time were still in pursuit of the masked assassin responsible for the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Shell casings found at the scene were inscribed with the words deny, defend, and depose. A possible reference to the 2010 book Delay, Deny, Defend, which criticizes the insurance industry for its claim denial practices. Authorities believe the assassin discarded a phone and personal items, including a coffee cup, water bottle, and power bars purchased from a Starbucks nearby, while the suspect's identity and whereabouts at the time had remained unknown. Okay, but it was still confusing, right? It was still confusing. This is the scene of the crime. They was trying to help the man. There's nothing that can be done. This is supposed to be the shooter. Gray sweatshirt, light gray backpack. Okay, and then this came out. NYPD released more photos of a man who they believe shot Brian Thompson. He's smiling down. And then we saw this, and they looked like two different people. Like it was very confusing. It is different lighting. I don't know, but it looked like two different people. It was all very confusing. So we're very conspiracy theory, esque around this time. United Health Group said we are deeply saddened and shocked at the passing of our dear friend and colleague Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. Brian was a highly respected colleague and friend to all who work with him. We are working closely. Let me tell you something. I'm going to stop right there. That's a lie. I could tell by the look of this man, people that he worked with did not like him. Okay? I'm not even going to, do all of this with y'all. Okay? Okay? Now, they asked everybody for help to find the assassin. Okay? So don't be surprised when your neighborhood McDonald's calls down to the police station. The lady said she saw him. Okay? I don't know whether it was a lady or a man, but somebody said they saw him. All right? Now, I'm paying attention to this shit loosely. And then footage captures the moment Luigi Mangione was led into court for his hearing. Okay?
In Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, taken in custody.
Head held high. Head held high.
In Altoona. Let's just listen in here to this.
Doesn't look scared.
All right, that was just Luigi Mangione as the strong...
Mangione. Okay, there's another one. Him getting out the car. He don't look scared. Charging documents say Luigi Mangione is being charged in Pennsylvania with forgery, carrying firearms without a license, tampering with records of ID, possessing instruments of a crime, providing false ID to law enforcement. Child, when he gave y'all the wrong ID. His charges are related to the fake identification documents he was caught with and carrying a gun without a license. He has not been named the man behind the slaying of the United. I was just about to say that. Now, why is it y'all not charging him for murder or nothing in none of this? Why is that? I don't know what's going on. Let's continue. Okay, they provided with fake ID. Ain't that something? I'm gonna continue. I gotta find the next one. Okay. Luigi's full manifesto to the feds. I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial. Some elementary social engineering, basic CAD, a lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. A reminder, the U.S. has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. United is the indecipherable largest company in the U.S. by market cap behind only Apple, Google, Walmart. It has grown and grown, but as our life expectancy, I'm sure he meant has our. No, the reality is these indecipherable have simply, that means that they couldn't figure out what he was saying. These, whatever, have simply gotten too powerful and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. Obviously, the problem is more complex, but I do not have space. And frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal, Moore, decades ago. And the problems simply remain. It is not an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power games at play. Evidently, I am the first to face it with such brutal honesty. Okay. Okay. All right. His lawyer.
Today, when I entered my appearance, and for the record, he's pleading not guilty to this. I haven't seen any evidence that says that he's the shooter. So that's like I said earlier, and I wasn't kidding around. A couple of things: if you're going to report something, report it accurately, and remember. And this is not just a small thing. The fundamental concept of American justice is the presumption of innocence, and until you're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I've seen zero evidence at this point.
Did you meet with the defendant earlier?
Yes, I did, and I'm pleased with our relationship. I think we've made a strong bond, and I'm looking forward to moving forward, helping him out.
All right, so I'm going to read to y'all what they're saying down to the CBS News. A ghost gun reportedly found in Luigi's possession during his arrest has been linked to 3 shell casings recovered at the scene of Brian Thompson's murder. Okay, so I don't know why we plead not guilty when we had a manifesto and we also had the shell casing. Girl, let me read. Luigi Mangione has been charged with murder in last week's deadly shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The 26-year-old, who was identified earlier as a person of interest, was arrested on firearms and other charges in Pennsylvania on Monday after being spotted at McDonald's in Altoona amid a massive manhunt for the shooter. Not Altoona. I didn't know that was a real place. Thought that was just on Family Matters. Fingerprints found on the water bottle and protein bar near where Thompson was killed matched the fingerprints taken from Mangione when he was booked into jail in Pennsylvania. Okay. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said Wednesday, investigators also matched a gun that police found with Mangione in Pennsylvania to 3 shell casings from the shooting in New York. Tisch told reporters during a news conference with New York Mayor Eric Adams and other officials. He's still there, huh? The fingerprint match was first reported by CNN. It's the first publicly announced forensic evidence linking Mangione to the crime scene. Mangione, who police said went to Pittsburgh and then Altoona after leaving New York, was arrested at a McDonald's after a customer alerted an employee who called the police. Officers questioned Mangione, who they described as acting suspiciously. According to court documents, the Altoona officers found Mangione sitting at a table in the back of the McDonald's wearing a blue medical mask and looking at a laptop with a backpack on the floor near the table. When the officers asked him to pull the mask down, they recognized him from photos released to the media. Like he was just minding his own business, huh? Mangione was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs and a U.S. passport. Why are you still here? Tisch said at a news conference one of the IDs matched the fake New Jersey ID that the shooting suspect used to check into a Manhattan hostel before the shooting, the commissioner said. When the Altoona officers asked Mangione for his ID at the McDonald's, he gave them the New Jersey ID. According to an affidavit submitted with the criminal complaint, when one officer was checking the ID with dispatchers, the other asked Mangione if he had been to New York recently, and Mangione became quiet and started to shake. According to the affidavit, Mangione provided real name after he was told he would be arrested if he lied about his identity, according to the affidavit. When an officer, hold up, y'all, I'm sorry, I had to stop my timer. When an officer asked Mangione why he lied about his name, he allegedly said, "I clearly shouldn't have." Officers found a gun and a suppressor that were consistent with the weapon used in the December 4th shooting of Thompson, Tisch said. Police said the gun found in his backpack appeared to be a 3D printed ghost gun with a loaded Glock magazine with 6 9mm full metal jacket rounds with a 3D printed silencer. Clothing and a mask consistent with those of the suspect in the case were also recovered, police said. Mangione was charged Monday evening with 5 counts in Pennsylvania: forgery, firearms not to be carried without a license, tampering with records or identification, possessing instruments of crime, and false identification to law enforcement. New York filed the murder charge later that night. Pennsylvania State Police Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens said Mangione was initially cooperative and then stopped cooperating with investigators. At an extradition proceeding on Tuesday afternoon in Pennsylvania, Mangione was denied bail. He is contesting extradition, and Pennsylvania has 30 days to get a warrant from New York Governor Kathy Hochul to start the process. I think that's how you pronounce that, girl. Don't hold me to it. Okay. A defense attorney for Mangione, Thomas Dickey, argued that the state of New York did not provide the defense with official second-degree murder charges and documents they were given. And now the defense has 14 days to request a writ of habeas corpus for those. In New York, the Office of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg confirmed to CBS News that prosecutors will seek a governor's warrant to secure Mangione extradition to Manhattan. As Mangione entered the Blair County Courthouse ahead of Tuesday's proceedings, he was aggressive and had to be contained, shouting that what was happening to him was an insult to the intelligence of the American people. While inside the courtroom, he quietly mumbled and mouthed words while sitting at the defense table. At his office Tuesday evening, Dickey told reporters he hadn't seen video footage of Mangione's outburst, but said hopefully there won't be more of that. Dickey said he was hired to represent Mangione and not appointed to the case. He wouldn't identify who hired him, and he wouldn't comment on what Mangione had said to him. Y'all, something's going on. Something that, is given somebody paid him. It's given he may not actually be the person, but some type of group, organization, somebody wanted to get rid of the Brian, CEO, the CEO man, which I can understand why. In all honesty, at first it seemed personal. It seemed personal. It seemed like a family member might have been denied health insurance when they needed life-saving efforts, and they were denied because of the AI that they are now using to do their jobs instead of, doing it the right way, which should result in y'all giving people more than y'all give them when it comes to covering their, even Blue Cross Blue Shield in certain states has decided they're going to stop covering medicine anesthesia after a certain amount of time or hours, as if, I guess, to keep them from overcharging the patient. And it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. At some point, you look at the insurance companies like a scam. Everybody does. Everybody looks at insurance companies like they're a scam. And I can remember that being a part of Kamala's, her agenda was to handle regulating the insurance companies. And, this is stuff that people, this is why I say that I feel like, and not to say that I feel like, either side is handling this appropriately, right? Not to say that at all. But I have always been a person of what makes more sense. What makes more sense? And to me, the fact that now everybody is adopting this eat the rich mentality with Luigi and what he's done is so weird after most of y'all just voted oh boy in, as if he is not representation of billionaire corporations, CEOs, rubbing elbows, being friends with only rich people, having no real grasp or concept of what Americans like regular middle class, poor, what do y'all, and then, even thinking that Trump was going to do something about big pharma. Even that is funny to me. It's another corporation. He's somebody that can be paid. And I don't understand why that's being lost. And it's not like everybody can be paid. I'm sure they can. But the way Trump went about it, it was to the highest bidder. If you can pay me the amount and I feel like doing it, I'm going to appoint you this job. Even though, you have no experience whatsoever in whatever sector, you just paid for your position in, but I'm putting you in that position. And what does that mean? That means you control who get the government contracts and for whatever your sector is. So you can give jobs to your friends or to who you want to give jobs to. Why do you think they're getting rid of DEI? That's not for the betterment. That's so that they can continue to give jobs to who they want to give jobs to put people in the positions that they want them to be in, so that there will always be somebody, an in-between person that has the business's best interest, the CEO's best interest over the public or the consumer or the patients or the workers. It's very plain. So to me, for everybody to now be like free Luigi and all of this, and this is not a left or right side issue, I get all of that. I agree. I've always felt like just the wordage of, oh, the left side, the left and the right. I'm not even talking about it in terms of that. I've always talked about it in terms of, Democratic or Republican when it comes to certain ideals, because I've just put those things together. I've put conservatism and taking advantage of people and hoarding wealth with conservatism. That's how I see it. And not to say that being a Democrat makes it any better, because at the end of the day, y'all are all about y'all money too. But I also have to look at how a lot of the time they do be a little bit more on the side of what is best for the people when it comes to certain types of laws or situations. It just depends. But politicians in general are, to me, performers who are up for grabs by whoever will pay them at the highest bidder. Whoever will pay them, that is what they will, that's what they'll focus on. Okay. I do believe there are a lot of people that are involved in politics that actually do care, but I feel like they're few and far in between. And when you are fighting against a monster, a machine, something that has checks and balances and all of these different forms and facets to keep this status quo going, is so hard to fight up against. And to me, the eat the rich mentality is funny to me. And I hate to say it like that, but it is. You profit off of making us sick. And you consistently do that down to the food we eat. And then you overcharge us for health care and keep us in a space of trauma all the time. That's why a lot of us don't watch the news. It's not because we don't want to be informed. It's because nobody wants to be that depressed every day. My God. But I also feel like at some point, something's got to shake. Something has to happen. Something has to be pushed forward. We cannot stay in this space when it's obviously not really working the way it is. So I'm very interested to see if I'll live to see how this all turns out. But to me, this is just a sign of the times. Y'all really think being rich and having a lot of money is going to save you all the time. And poor people have that mentality too. Y'all repeat that same mentality with the way y'all comment on the blog posts, the way you sympathize with the rich people, the way, keep a billionaire down. Like all of that is brainwashing so that you can identify yourself with somebody who is really on some level your oppressor. Like plain and simple. But you don't see it that way because America convinces you that you could get to that level at some point. Like that's what the Jay-Z's and Diddy's and all of them of the world. You need to see examples of people growing up in the Marcy Project so that they can become billionaires. So you can always be thinking that it's a possibility for you, when in real life, there are way too many things put in place to keep the average person from attaining that amount of wealth. But the average person will always have it in their mind that it can happen for them if they just work hard enough, if they just get the right job, if they get the right position, if they fuck the right man, if they fuck the right woman, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever your way is, it's always the way to get to what you view as most desirable. And a lot of the times the things you think are the most desirable have been put in your head by all the corporations that want to make you feel less than so that you can continue to buy into a system that is a vapid, endless well of taking advantage of people. I mean, that is what it is. You're taking advantage of people consistently and without fail in so many different facets of life. Let me continue. I'm sorry, y'all. I went on a tangent, but it's just like, whoa, okay. Dickey said Mangione would plead not guilty to the Pennsylvania charges and said he'd advise Mangione to enter the same plea to the New York charges. As to clarify what specific charges Mangione would plead not guilty to, Dickey said every charge. Remember, and this is not just a small thing, the fundamental concept of American justice, as he said, is the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, which, a lot of people, I think there's a plus and a minus, right? There's a plus and a minus. I think there's a good thing to the fact that the public can sometimes, their anger, their emotion can bring about change to things that need to be changed, right? I think there is a good thing, but there's always a groupthink and a negative to some of those ideals and mentalities, which is why the presumption of innocence I can take it or leave it. Because then sometimes I feel like y'all use that as a tool to ignore the evidence that's been displayed. You also use it as a way to act as if a person hasn't done something wrong simply because they haven't been charged or convicted of a crime, when we know that life is a little bit more gray and complex than that. I'm just saying. And I think it's interesting, how people are responding to this. So a 3-page handwritten document that speaks to both his motivation and mindset was also recovered from Mangione when he was apprehended by police, according to Tish. NYPD sources referred to the notes as a claim of responsibility, where Mangione attempted to justify his actions. Mangione wrote that the U.S. had the most expensive healthcare system. We read that earlier. NYPD officers believe Mangione might have been inspired by Unabomber Ted Kaczynski. I'm little, whatever. Y'all know what it is. With the handwritten note reflecting a similar mindset. Kenny told reporters that officials don't think that there's any specific threats to other people mentioned in that document, but NYPD sources said police are concerned about the risk of extremists viewing Mangione as an example to follow. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro expressed this concern in his Monday remarks and strongly condemned both the murder and those who celebrated it online. The suspect is a coward, not a hero. You know what's so interesting? I feel like just a month ago during the election, everybody was in there. We don't give a fuck. We want honesty. Like, everybody was in there. I don't give a fuck stage. And now y'all want to go back to the common decency that we should all pretend to have in front of everybody. It's crazy to me. Like, I really feel like on some level, and you can agree with me or not agree with me, but electing Trump really, like the second time, the first time, yeah, but the second time with all of the charges, it really just made a statement that these things don't matter. If the president can have all of these charges against him and y'all reelect him so that he doesn't have to face the consequences, you can then not preach this moral superiority bullshit to people. And I believe the right and the left side are both doing that right now. I was just watching, shout out to Lovely T. I was watching Lovely T earlier, and she was showing clips of how the news, as far as Fox or maybe MSNBC or CNN, are reporting these things. Of course, you might have Josh Shapiro up there talking about how, oh, this is wrong. This is a father, this is a husband. Y'all shouldn't be rejoicing in his death. And it's like, when did you people get morals? When did y'all get morals? Because it's very much given, like, remember when y'all tried to take over the Capitol because y'all lost that last election? Like, are we living in the same world? Like, it's very weird, y'all. It's very weird the way everybody loves to go back and forth between when they want to respect the common laws and the decency shit, the respectability politics that everybody was pretending that they were, down for. That's why it's always so interesting how conservatives and Republicans think, because a lot of the times there is nothing conservative about the way you live your lives. But because conservatism is largely paired with hoarding wealth, in my opinion, because that's what it's about. But it's also about controlling people and controlling people's minds and how they feel about themselves and what they can do. And all of that to me has always been like a negative, but it has spoken to their inconsistencies. It is spoken to how they will go back and forth. Even Trump is an example of somebody with straight inconsistencies going back and forth. One year you believe this, the next year you believe the opposite. Is it Ben or Josh? Child, listen, whichever Shapiro has the YouTube. Has the show that used to do the show with Candace Owens. Child, a Shapiro. One of them, okay? But let's continue to read more about Luigi here, okay? Because Josh Shapiro, the governor, said that the suspect is a coward, not a hero, and all of that shit. But I feel like when Trump was getting, when they were shooting at Trump and he jumping up with the fist pump of righteousness and shit. Like, to me, I feel like even though that was the president, there is also a mentality of do anything by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? So Ben Shapiro is the person that was saying that shit, but Josh Shapiro is the governor. Got it. But yeah, the white supremacy is foremost on the mental for a lot of these people. And it's like you're fighting against something you have no control of. Death is the great equalizer. That's why, like, I don't, people feel like death is something negative all the time. I don't always feel that way. I feel like death is the great equalizer. As much as y'all try to hold on to power, when you die, whatever happens is no longer in your control. It's not really in your control anyway. But there is a part of me that feels like every time somebody who thinks they have power dies and has to leave everything here, it's the great equalizer of not really money. You can't control life forever. Can you like think about all of the kings of past past empires that have come and gone through time and thought they were going to have power over people for all of eternity? They build huge monuments to themselves to live in infamy, and a war happens and the shit gets knocked down and they burn books and now nobody remembers you. Like, I think some things are just inevitable, and the constant trying to fight against the depletion of whiteness. It's just like, give me a fucking break, man. You're here today. How about you focus on that? Because once you're gone, it's no longer in your power. And in 100 or 200 years, you're really not going to have a say in how any of this, plays out. According to Magnione's LinkedIn account, Mangione worked as a data engineer at the car buying website TrueCar. But a company spokesperson told CBS News that Mangione hasn't worked there since 2023. Mangione graduated from the University of Pennsylvania in 2020. A Penn spokesperson confirmed to CBS News he received a Master of Science in Engineering with a major in Computer and Information Science and a Bachelor of Science in Engineering, majoring in Computer Science with a minor in Mathematics. So a smart motherfucker, basically. While at Penn, he worked as a teaching assistant and founded a video game development club, according to his LinkedIn account. At Stanford University in California, Mangione was a head counselor for a pre-college studies program during the summer of 2019, the university said in a statement to CBS. They talked about him suffering from severe back pain, so he could have had his own issues. Yes. Okay. So they get into he had a spinal injury in July 2023. In October, he indicated that the operation had gone well, saying that he was taking 0 pain meds and hadn't had a bad day since the surgery 8 days before. In February 2024, Mangione said the surgery came after 1.5 years of failed conservative treatment. He's related to a prominent Maryland family. Okay, so they're just giving you all the deets. Mangione appeared isolated before his arrest. He reviewed Unabomber's manifesto books about back pain. Okay. So yeah, it seems as if he might have his own personal reasons for hating you motherfuckers. Like, okay. But I do think that there's always an option that the shit is not true. It's always an option that he's a patsy. It's always an option that this is all for some greater mission for either side. You know what I'm saying? Because they've already started to remove the CEO's pictures and names from websites and shit because y'all don't want them to be able to be easily found. And I get that, but I also feel like y'all sit too high on pedestals for the way y'all treat people. And I really do feel like y'all should have the fear that your life will be cut short by the people if you continue to abuse them and not care about their deaths, not care about their lives, their health, when you are in the position to decide whether they get aid or not. Like when you are in a position to basically decide life or death for people and you do so with no real empathy for being a person in general and for, just putting yourself in another person's position. Yeah, I feel like death is a great equalizer and there should always be fear in the rich that you will get eaten when it all boils down to it. Because if y'all don't think this is a system of everybody being taken advantage of by 1%, girl, they gave that job to AI. And that's another thing. That's another thing why I don't use AI like that. I talked about this in the Discord, that I feel it would probably be so much easier if I use AI for certain things, but there's a part of me that just kind of feels like I would like to refuse to do this as long as I can. I would like to just keep it to the level of where I'm at with it for as long as I can. Also, I often feel like people put way too much on artificial technology. Like, everybody thinks, because they've been making movies about computers and robots replacing people for years. And I've always come to the same mindset. Computers are they're imperfect. They break all kind of shit. Like, no, computers are not reliable enough for you to only rely on computers as much as y'all think that that's smart. Also, when you have a whole bunch of people that no longer have jobs, so they have nothing to do, what do you think is going to happen then? You create more of a homeless population. All kind of shit happens when y'all decide to replace people with computers. So when y'all make everybody homeless because they don't have jobs because you've replaced them with AI, and they're homeless and you just made being homeless illegal, what do y'all think is going to happen? The zombie movies are really just, like, this is what's going to happen to the 1%. Y'all are going to be left here with the rest of us that, are scratching and surviving good times. And that is going to make this an uncomfortable experience for everybody, not just for the poor. That's just the way this goes. That's why, Rome and all of that. That's why a lot of those civilizations have fallen. You take advantage of people, and after a while, they get tired of that shit and they overpower you and destroy the shit. It happens over and over again historically. So America is no different. We young as fuck. AI ain't scary. It's not that it's scary. To me, it is what it represents for what I experienced in the work environment. Is they're always trying to find ways to cut corners, not pay you, not incentivize you in a positive manner, but to keep you in a mindset that you need this job. So you better work as hard as possible. You better enslave yourself for this job because you can be replaced with a computer. When you put that type of shit over people, that's a stressor. That's an unrealistic stressor to put on people. But at the end of the day, anything that is forcing everybody to some type of enslavement, I have issue with. AI is cute for certain things. Please don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I do think there is a going too far part of this. I do. Because essentially, I feel like a lot of that is them trying to, the whole man trying to destroy nature by creating computers and robots to perform better than nature. But essentially, you're on nature. So all you're going to do is destroy it, or it's going to destroy you. like, just saying, y'all, they tend to go too far. And the movies have been telling y'all for a long time. Syria's government was just overturned. Wow. They're using AI as scapegoats and dirty work they can claim was a technical issue, but they programmed the AI to do whatever it did. That too. I don't like the AI shit. Like, especially the way it checks on social media. Yeah, I would much prefer if y'all would have set rules, for people to follow when it comes to that shit. That's fair to the people that are creating the content. Instead of having that shit go through these automated systems that flag anything it doesn't understand or doesn't have nuance to. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just a lot of things. Like, for instance, like McDonald's. I remember McDonald's tried to do that shit with the, put the computer so you can order your food at the computers. Everybody still ends up going to the damn the counter. Because at some point, for some reason, that shit not working. The credit card machine not working. So you still got to go up there. You know what I'm saying? You still got to go up there to the register to order the food. So eventually, I feel like some of McDonald's just got rid of the shit. Like, come on now. But yes, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to come back and get into more. Okay.
Anywhere you go, give it all. Anywhere you say, anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay. All right, I'm back. All right. Because it's this is all that. This is all that. All right, y'all. So that's all I really wanted to say about Luigi Mangione. Lord. Looked like he was crying in. Looked like he was crying in. But to me, the CEOs of these corporations and shit, like y'all are the people that lobby the government to fuck over us. And I keep telling y'all that. That's why I said that whole Elon Musk shit. Like that whole Elon Musk shit. You're another CEO of a corporation that wants to remove checks and balances. You want to remove all of the red tape. You make that shit sound good to the American people, but really all of that means is that y'all will be able to completely fuck over people when it comes to labor laws. That's all I mean. That's what when I talk about voting against your own self-interest, that is literally what I mean. And like I said, not to say that Democrats don't have the same type of shit going on with them, but it just seems blatant, obvious on one side. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Girl. But to me, often it feels like, Democrats are more about social programs and shit like that. And yes, obviously taking advantage of the poor. Everybody likes to do that. But the way Republicans do it, boy, they just love to cut you and then tell you that the Lord is blessing. It's the Lord. The Lord is blessing me right now. All right, y'all. Let's move on because I'm tired. It makes my head hurt. We'll talk further about Luigi Mangione as things take place. But this is a very interesting turn of events. It feels like a moment to pinpoint in history, like a turning point moment type of situation. But let's move on to things that stress us out a little bit less. Okay, girl. I thought this was very interesting. Can we discuss?
So I came out.
Oh yeah, I ain't even snapped that. Hold on.
And let me show you.
That's what they did that. Jeremy did just.
So I came out here ready to go bananas. You hear me? Bananas. So then, after I was ready to go bananas, this is who I see. This is who I see in the cut with this guy here. With that guy. Yes, that one with that camera. Some things you just don't play with. So guess who's on punishment now? And guess who has to give my car a car wash inside and out? Then has to work at the restaurant tomorrow.
Wait, what?
Then has to work 9 a.m. at the restaurant tomorrow. 9 a.m. Because there's some things you don't play with. You don't play YouTube or my car. So now YouTube jokes on you. Don't you ever in your life play with my car. Ever. Jokes on you. Like, who lied? Like, what? Like, what?
I can't wait to tell my opinion about this.
Like, these kids, I just don't get it. It's like sometimes things just go too far. He don't know. I'll take it further. So I came out.
Okay. So number one is that Yandy and her family, Mendices, little Mendices, they're always doing weird troll-like shit on the internet. Either something embarrassing comes out and they act like it was all a joke or that nobody's really upset about it, or they're playing little pranks like this. And I feel like it's often disrespecting Yandy. A lot of the pranks that I've seen Lil Mendices do that have gone viral are Lil Mendices passive aggressively, I feel like, disrespecting Yandy. Putting cheater on her car is wild. That's not a prank. That's not a prank, Yandy. That's something I feel like a child is doing and laughing, acting like it's a joke, and they really serious. They really want to hurt you some type of way. They really want to draw attention to something. And I was wondering when the ramifications of your relationship with Samantha was going to come into play. Y'all know what's so funny? I used to sometimes wonder if Samantha and her mom were biologically, because, you know, I forgot Samantha mama name, but Samantha mama, you know, is a full-on stud. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean anything. Studs have kids every day, okay? But they just also didn't really look as much alike. But as I'm looking at Lil Mendices face, he looks just like, is it Kim? Is it Kim? Yeah. Look just like him. Like actual facial features, eyes, nose, look just like him. That's crazy. So yeah, I was looking at this situation and I was just like, I feel like Yandy is always paying for self-sacrificing in that relationship in some way, shape, or form. Like I don't know why, but it just always looks that way. It always looks as if, you know, you're acting like it's not that big of a deal, but it's an extreme level of disrespect, either from Mendices, from his baby mamas, and now seemingly from his son. I don't know. I could be wrong, girl, because y'all could really be just trying to get the internet all amped up, because we know how y'all like to do that. We know how folks like to come on the internet and get everybody all amped up for clout, for clicks and views, rage baiting. So I'm not about to get upset, but I'm absolutely looking at the situation and questioning if this is really happening. It's giving he don't like you, and it's his way of getting his aggression off on you. It's something that I think a lot of teenage boys do. You do mean shit, jokes, pranks, pushing. That's why I would tell y'all all the time, like, you know, a signifier that a man might be physically abusive is play fighting with you all the time. It's a way for him to get the aggression off without actually hitting you. A lot of times people feel like as long as they're smiling and laughing, what they're doing isn't causing any damage. It's very weird. It's creepy. But yes, okay. We talked about that. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about Andrew Schulz. I want to talk about Andrew Schulz, right? Because we discussed him and how he decided to respond to Kendrick mentioning him in his song. You know, never let a white comedian disrespect black women. That's law. And a lot of what Mustache was saying was calling out black men and Kendrick as being hypocrites. You don't protect black women. You're a part of another comedy group that's going to do jokes about black women. So why are you, coming at me about it when it's something that everybody does? And even though, yeah, of course, there's truth to that, I still feel like the way Mustache went about it, it was giving racism. It wasn't giving funny. It wasn't giving comedy. It was literally giving, what black woman made you mad today? For you to get up here and be passive aggressive on this mic with these, like, that's what it was given to me. Like, yeah, because the black woman's going to be beating your ass. And it's just like, what? It was weird. It was definitely, to me, it was giving, I'm laughing, but I'm actually angry. And what I'm saying right now is directed towards somebody. That's what it gave to me. So I don't know what black woman made Mustache mad, but his comments were not funny. There was no punchline to it. It was just, to me, a generalization of black women that seemed kind of crass. And honestly, not true. To be very clear. But I guess having women that you can beat their ass and be aggressive with them, like, I guess that's better to men. like white women not beating y'all ass sometimes. Like the Latino girls aren't smacking y'all upside y'all heads and shit sometimes. Like, y'all really love to center the market on black women for that shit, as if there aren't crazy white women on docuseries who have murdered, stabbed, and cut penises off. Somehow, black women are the ones that are out here doing this at some high scale. It's weird.
Don't be surprised if he goes crazy. Listen, some of the Kendrick stans have been posting shit like telling me they're gonna take out my family on like pictures of my child, my daughter. God. You surprised by this? This is the nature of the game.
Yeah, social media.
Yeah, it's social media. It's like, but he says that line. He says that line. His parent, his friend, some of his fans, the majority of his fans don't do anything. The majority of his fans are just like, they like hip hop. They think he's a great musician. But the most extreme ones, on a picture of my 8-month baby, are going, you better take security everywhere because I'm coming for your whole family. And this is like multiple. Crazy. So to me,
is it crazy? Let's put this into perspective for a second. And I'm not saying anybody should be threatening anybody's babies, y'all. But I just want everybody to be fucking for real. The triggering of the shit that Andrew Schulz said, how he came off, it came off like, I'm a racist, I know it, and I don't care what you think. And I'll point out to you how you have some of my same ideals. Now what? What you gonna do now? And what that stems from, historically for black people, and I hate the way everybody like minimizes Jim Crow South and the aggression towards black people just in general during certain like decades in years here in this country. But men like Andrew Schulz, even with that little like mustache, like, he makes me nervous just looking at him. As a white man looking like that, I don't have any idea who you are as a person. I don't. And I won't presume to know, but I do know I have a physical response to looking at you. I know seeing you and men like you, seeing large groups of white men, makes me uncomfortable. I know the statements you made remind me of how those same, any evil rhetoric or negative rhetoric, bad rhetoric, anything said negatively about black people or black women specifically by white people in forms of media has led to lynchings, has led to people being dragged from cars. Like, it's a lot of things I think that are attached to when white people decide they want to make racial jokes about black people, and when black people respond in threatening ways, all of a sudden you want to act as if you're above this way of thinking, and this is par for the course, and this is just what they do. But essentially, I feel like what you said and did is very violent, and what it feels like to the people that saw it, myself included, it feels like that might be a similar fear to you opening your phone to find people threatening your baby. And I think otherwise you would not have any fear that someone would hurt you. Black people do have fear that someone will hurt them. Black women specifically have fear that someone will hurt them. Or, I mean, just how we get taken advantage of at jobs, like in any space. We're always the ones that are working the hardest, being mistreated the worst. Like, it happens all the time. So when a white man who has only been made famous because a black man introduced us to him, for him to say things like black women are aggressive and abusive and make it a joke when these two black men are talking about the positive effect that black women have on non-black men. And your argument is to completely squash what they're saying. Scary, loud, unfunny laugh your way through that commentary, which was not funny at all. And I think that the other two dudes were laughing more so out of being uncomfortable because they came there with their points of what they were there to talk about. And you were trying to squash that. And the whole idea that black women actually better the lives of other men that they come into contact with. Besides this rhetoric that we're always ruining some man's life. So I feel as if the feelings and the emotions that go along with that type of rhetoric and racism that we have to always swallow is linked to a real fear for us, a real life fear in one way or another, being mistreated by somebody, being physically harmed by somebody. Like a lot of that is, you know, it's a universal consciousness of what black people have gone through in this country and consistently go through because y'all keep showing it to us in different forms to remind us that it can go back to this. When you hear stories ever so often about some black kid in a country place getting hung up from a fucking tree and nobody knows what happened, they talking about he hung himself. Black people don't hang themselves from trees. Might hang yourself from a ceiling fan, but you're not gonna hang yourself from no goddamn tree. You hear about the black lady that was at the little summer party with all the white people and just up and fucking disappear, never to be seen or heard from again. Like there's so many, I mean, there's so many different instances where these feelings that we feel because of racism invoke fear in us or some type of trauma response. That's why whenever you yell black people always getting upset and all of that because it's literally linked to the trauma response of how we are often dealt with in the world we live in. And so to act as if what you did was just simply a comedian making a joke while these people are now taking it to another level and threatening you, I feel like that's some bitch made shit. And if you want to laugh and wear the mustache of Hitler, then I'm going to need for you to not come to us bitching and crying after you sat there and nanny boo-booed in everybody's face. His commentary on Kendrick's music was definitely, I said what the fuck I said, fuck y'all, now what y'all gonna do? That to me, that was the energy. Whether that's the words you said or not, that was the energy. So now people coming at you and now you sitting up here wanting us to feel bad because you getting threatened?
That person, I don't blame Kendrick. We can't control what our fans do. But that person, I go, you're talking about my kid, man. Like, I have to screenshot you, know who you are. And if I ever see you,
you can't play with it. Yeah, you can't play with it. No, I'm with you. 100%. Now,
so that kind of reminds me about what happened with Dr. Jackie on Married to Medicine, where instead of talking about what you said and how fucked up it was and how it wasn't funny and the ramifications of it, you instead want to talk about how you've been made a victim because of
some of the Kendrick stans have been posting shit like telling me they're gonna take out my family on like
I don't have a problem with
and
none
passion.
Of it. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't have a problem with none of it. Because Kendrick can say what he wants.
No, you're right. I'm not saying
he can't control how Schulz responds, and Schulz can't control how Kendrick responds if Kendrick responds again. That's just the way the world
he's
is.
not gonna respond again because he didn't mention your name.
Exactly, he knows better. What he should say if he wasn't talking about me, that'd be the
he knows better. What does that mean? Do you see what I'm saying? It's antagonistic.
No, you're not worth the mention. You're not worth the mention.
And I put his feet in there.
He's saying you're not worth the mention.
What if I put his feet in there? What if I put his feet in there?
You want him to slap the shit out of you.
How's he gonna do that? Whose shoulders he gonna stand on?
They gonna fuck you up.
Stop playing.
No. I believe his team will fuck me up.
Like,
I
stop.
believe his people will fuck me up. I believe I am not a tough guy.
Kendrick will wash
I know. Kendrick will
He's
wash
a 20
you.
degree black belt. So
Listen, all right.
I mean, are you really saying that you was gonna beat his ass? Do you see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying? I ain't even hear the rest of this.
Weight classes, Jones.
So what?
There's love
I don't have a problem with
and
none of
passion.
it. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't have a problem with none of it.
Wait.
Listen, no, see, guys, we gotta take this serious. Listen, rappers are telling comedians we need to be more respectful to women. So we gotta sit back and reflect.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They're the most pious group.
Listen, nobody has respected women more. Through art
Yes.
than rappers.
And I think he's right. He's being sarcastic, but he's absolutely right. Rappers have never, like, honestly, y'all opened the door for some of this disrespect, to be clear. Okay? But it doesn't excuse what you said, Andrew. And I think you keep throwing it out there so we can throw the blame back on somebody else when really we still not dealing with what the fuck you said.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So I completely understand how a rapper could look at a comedian telling a joke and be like, yo, y'all need to switch that shit up.
Yeah.
How dare y'all keep saying your wives are annoying? Be more like us and, bitches ain't nothing but hoes and tricks. I beat my bitch with a stick. What? You can lick on the nuts or suck the dick. I beat my bitch with a stick. What?
Did you just think of that?
That's a real lyric.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a real lyric from music that protects women. And for decades protects women. And listen, right now the guy on top, Kung Fu Kenny,
He is the guy on top.
he is making sure that comedians, he put a law. No, guys,
Come on, love, don't let no.
Yeah. And they still not talking about. I still haven't heard wherever he made a controversial joke about sexually assaulting Kendrick Lamar. Is that what he meant when he
I don't know the
air, put his legs in the air? Is that what that's supposed to mean? Y'all always trying to threaten black men with fucking them. That has slavery in it. That has buck breaking in it. It is very much giving buck breaking. I hear y'all. I hear what y'all saying. Charlamagne,
That's what Ken.
we heard that he defended him. He said that it's fine. He can say what he want to say, and Kendrick can say what he want to say. That's fine. That's fine if you feel that way. And people have a right to respond however they're gonna respond. Since we don't care, right? It's cool, right? It's cool. All right, then it's cool. Then don't come to us complaining about people putting shit on your kids' photos. Don't. Do us a favor, because we don't care. Like, I forgot which one of these I left a meme on, but y'all know the one with Beyonce with the hoodie on, sipping out her drink. Like, you'll be all right. You'll be okay. Clear man. You're still number one today. Clear man. You're gonna be okay. Clear man. Okay, so let's get into Amanda Seales, because Amanda Seales has been going through it, girl. And yes, please do me a favor before we get into the rest of Amanda Seales. Give to my massage fund, because girl, listen, I need it.
Anywhere you go, you belong.
I just can't.
Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay.
Can't get past watching Whoopi like defend Joe Biden like he's like some good man. That's so weird. No presidents are good people. Not of the United States. Not even Barack. Oh no, not even Barack, baby.
Okay.
It's like it's just not it's just not really the thing. I just can't get past why
stand on this moral high ground all the time, and they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything.
Okay. So let me say this. I agree with Amanda.
Watching Whoopi.
And I have often called Whoopi out for her flip-flopping. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 minute she's conservative, the next minute she's liberal. It just depends on when you catch her. And I just mean as it pertains to her defending white men. She loves to defend white men. It's very weird. But I think also because a Black woman that's not conventionally attractive has probably not been treated very well by the Black community and has probably been treated with more respect by white men, which is probably why she feels the way, especially, in her sector, which is why she probably feels the way she feels about, these things, case by case basis. And if it's my friend, I'm gonna act like it ain't happened. But I don't think that any of the presidents are really good people. But I do feel like you got to prove to me that Barack Obama is fucked up. And really just because of his wife, the way he handled himself, I'm sure there's been fucked up shit he's done in his administration. But a lot of times I feel like you just enter yourself into a machine that's already moving. You know what I'm saying? You're just into yourself as the face for a machine that's already moving. And we know this because as soon as he's out of office, anything that he did in order to push us forward can now be rolled back. That's exhausting. I seen a TikTok about that. Somebody was like, are you really free if you got to fight for your freedom every 4 years? I was like, exactly. Like it used to feel like once some of these laws got to the Supreme Court, we didn't have to argue about them anymore. But now it's like we are having the same arguments over again instead of progressing past this point. No, let's go back and re-argue about Roe v. Wade. Let's go back and re-argue about the fact that the country is based in racism and the way it's implemented is only helped with incentivizing companies to not be that way. Like that's the only way this shit works. That's why as soon as Trump got in office and now we don't give a fuck about DEI, Walmart and all of them are pulling back all of their inclusion and equity training shit, shit that they had going on. Like it. Oh, girl. I get tired of sometimes how I feel like people act like they don't understand these things, but we go through this shit over and over again. And child, this is how they want us. They want us to be like this. Banning women from nursing and midwifery. We tell y'all all the time, me and Erica De Niro, like we read a book. And in that book, they explain that the one of the first things they did to oppress women was to create doctors and the association of doctors and medical school that pushed women out of midwifery and in medicine, pushed them out, made them illegitimate, and then only allowed men to go through schooling and then therefore be put on the Doctors Association, whatever the fuck it's called in America. But this happens in other people's countries. And it's so funny because often whenever things like Americans go to other countries and these fucked up things happen to them that are obviously a byproduct of regressive and oppressive laws that they have in place that Americans don't necessarily have to deal with to a certain degree, there's always some American in the comments talking about, well, you can't go over there and act however you want to act, regardless to how barbaric it is. They will still find a way to make it okay because that's just the way those people do things. And it just annoys me because I feel like it always puts us in a position of acting like some of these things aren't really bad. It's just perspective. And I do feel like on a metaphysical level, that's true. But I also feel like, no, a lot of times these things are signs of the exact same shit, whether it's happening in Dubai or happening in America, whether it's happening in, in Afghanistan, wherever it's happening, these same things happen so that you can oppress the same group of people. It's all oppression. And y'all always in the fucking comments acting like that's not what it is because it's happening in another country. Oh my God. Okay. It's been a lifetime of stability and anything you want from me. Nothing is impossible. Or oh, that's my shit. Okay, listen. Girl, I love me an old 90s, early 2000s wedding song. Let me tell you something. She pregnant again. This is Fallon and Jalen. Y'all remember them. Byproduct of Real Housewives of Atlanta and such things. He was online saying that she groomed him because she a little bit old, but seemed like he was all in that groomed coochie. Putting another baby in it. They already got one baby together. This their second baby together. In all honesty, I'm happy for these people. I know they got online and did too much, bam, and embarrassed themselves and all of that shit. But essentially, I do feel like there was always love here between them. And I did say she was pregnant. I told y'all that. I said it was all up in her face. I said, oh, she pregnant. Okay. And I do think on some level that Jalen is just like a lot of men, that you only really view women as the bad guy when you're hurt. When you're getting love from a woman, when you're getting what you want from her, she's the best thing since sliced bread. But as soon as your fucking feelings get hurt, it's she's the worst. I hate her, And hopefully he's gotten past that point, which is why they're together. Because I do feel like she genuinely loved him. Like the way their relationship took place, the way they talked about just being friends, the way I imagine Simon's ass mentally and emotionally abuses the women he's in relationships with, just based off the shit I've seen him do on the internet. Like he's unhinged. So I can pretty much guess being with somebody that doesn't treat you like that, even though they may whine and sometimes act like a child, they still not trying to oppress you the way old boy was. I imagine it feels like finding somebody that you actually love for real versus looking for stability or, whatever else. So I'm happy for, yeah, girl. He said she groomed him and they married now. And I hope they work it out and I hope it works out for them. I'm going to just say that. Okay. Y'all go ahead and be happy. All right. All right, let's move on. We're gonna talk about Love and Hip Hop Miami tomorrow, my members. Okay, so don't worry, don't fret. Now we'll get into Trina and them. Where do I want to go next? Oh, girl, especially we're gonna talk about this because, bitch, this why I don't like Eliza Reign right now. Oh, weird ass. Oh shit. Okay. There are other clips of Amanda Seales that I want to get to, y'all. And then we'll get to Jamie Foxx and Andrea Kelly. Okay. Hold up. Let's go to part one.
Folks like Dale Hughley and Ricky Smiley to talk about me on their shows. I was told that the reason the show was not going to go further was because affiliates did not want a show that was polarizing, and also that I was not funny enough on a consistent basis. And they're not wrong. These are not, let me do a silly skit every morning times. At one point on the show where they called me and they asked me to stop referring to the genocide as a genocide, I played that little game for like a month. And then I just was like, I can't not refer to it as what it is. They allowed folks like Dale. When I came to Radio 1 in 2021, so when I came to Radio 1 in
So Amanda Seales' show gets canceled after affiliates say she isn't funny enough consistently.
2022, I literally said to both of my bosses who were Jewish men, I said, I cannot come here unless you're going to have my back when I eventually have to speak about Palestine, because I will have to speak about Palestine. And
she does have her own platform. She has a Patreon. I actually follow her Patreon.
I need to know, do you all acknowledge that Palestine is an
She's been a comedian.
Occupied state? Do you acknowledge this? And the elder said, yes. And the other started to do conjecture. And I was like, cut it. I didn't ask you for all of that. I said, yes or no. He said, yes. And I said, because I will have to speak about Palestine. And when it happens, I need to know that this company is going to have my back. I cannot sign this contract unless I know that this company is going to have my back. And when they asked me to take down my video of Zionists fucking with my livelihood, that's also when I knew, like, this is probably the beginning of the end. It always sucks that it's a Black man who always delivers the news. And I will leave you with this. Whenever somebody says it's just business, that is the lie that sellouts tell themselves. Actually, you know what? I just remembered that I have been fired from a creative job. I was fired from Sirius Satellite Radio by another Black man. When I came to Radio 1 in 2021.
Which is why you always screaming on behalf of Black men needs to stop. So I'm going to say this because I know Amanda does a lot of, angry speaking on the internet. But what I felt and what I thought about is I read a lot of stories, or I've seen stories of Black people in the past, not even just Black people, period. They were living in times that were extremely unfair, corrupt, and oppressive. And they chose to speak out, even at the detriment of their careers and some of them, their lives. Billie Holiday versus, the United States of America, the FBI, the way they infiltrated with the Black Panther Party, the way they infiltrated with jazz musicians back in the day. A lot of the times the musicians were also linked to the politics. So like, for instance, I know about Aretha Franklin paying for certain things for Dr. Martin Luther King and other people. Like, this was all interconnected at some point because there was no other choice. So these days, when everybody tells you to just, sing and shut up or just dribble a ball, it's like historically, Black people have always had to use their celebrity to help Black people as a whole, because otherwise there was no other option. If you want us to, like, at some point it was like, if you want us to perform, we have to stop going through the back door. So none of us are going to perform here until y'all change your minds. Like, things had to take place in order for us to get to any semblance of fairness as it pertains to how things are now. But I think we forget how we got there. So what I don't want to ever happen is to look back on Amanda and feel like she was another one of those people that was angry in her approach or did not show up in the world in the most palatable manner, but still was on the right side of something and desperately trying to remain that way and not getting any support because it's a large, first of all, there are larger issues. And now we live in a time where we can't all just focus on the same issue. Back during civil rights, Jim Crow, we really didn't have other people's problems to worry about as much. Here in America, yes, you had your world wars and all of that. Please don't misunderstand me, and that affects us. But as it pertains to Black people, a lot of our efforts had to go to our liberation. Even if we're not fully liberated, it damn sure wasn't liberated back then. So I feel like, Black people, period, had to take a stance because otherwise there were no other options. Like, you had to. Now I feel like they've done a good job separating us from that. Also using it against us in a way that now makes it hard for us to even be that way. Right. So whenever somebody, y'all was trying to keep a Black person, we can't listen to that. We can't listen to that because at the same time, what ended up happening was because we were trying to protect Black people from white people, we let Black people harm and traumatize other Black people. And so that now has to be dealt with. That's a trauma we still trying to deal with, the colorism and all of that shit that has, happened within our community. So again, when I think about how heavy things are right now, and if I'm being fucking for real, it's not everybody's plight to pick up, but for those who it is, like those who do feel passionate, those who do feel emotional about it and want to speak about it and are fighting for the platform to speak up for what they believe is right without having people turn it into, oh, you support Hamas and all of that bullshit. Like, when essentially that they're literally viewing it the way they viewed the civil rights movement and how Black people were treated in America at a certain time to how the Palestinians are being treated in Israel. So there are parallels. And I don't know all of the information, you know what I'm saying? I won't pretend to. But what does give me pause from having the, oh, here go Amanda shit again. You know, I don't agree with what she said so far. I can't have that attitude towards Amanda. I just can't. Because I feel like on some level, as weird and you know, fucked up as y'all feel like Amanda can be, I think Amanda genuinely does care. And so I would hate to see her be one of those people in history who died poor or, you know, never was able to be at peace because powers that be wanted to stifle their voice. Feel me? So I'm just saying, y'all, I have to be real with y'all. I have to be real with y'all about that whole situation. I have to really listen sometimes and can't just, oh, shut up, Amanda. No, because at the end of the day, like, somebody got to have these conversations. Fuck. Somebody got to talk about this shit. Right. There are genocides going on in Africa, Sudan, Congo, etc., but it's never the focal point for Black activists. It's weird. I feel like people have been talking about the stuff going on in the Congo, in the Sudan, but I always feel like because Black people are constantly being put through this, we sometimes put on blinders to issues that affect us because it's like, this is happening everywhere. This is happening everywhere. And it just so happens to be the most prevalent thing right now. But that's not fair either. So I do understand what y'all mean by that. I do. Hey, Talia. Thank you for the super chat, boo. Hey, Bondi, and it is understandable for Amanda to be some level of upset, frustrated, angry when speaking on certain topics. It's mind-blowing the things that are going on and what motherfuckers are getting away with abroad and at home. Great point, son. Thank you so much. And I know you know something. Okay. Summer D, thank you for the super chat towards your massage. Thank you. Savannah Doll, thank you. Blondie, y'all know my name is Bondi, right? They did the same thing to Black women after we delivered their babies and taught them. I mean, very much so. Very, very much so. Fallon enslaved that boy. Marriage boot camp revealed her ass. They broke up. Why would he go and impregnate her and get back? At what point is Jalen a grown-ass man deciding to be in a relationship with a woman? Like, at what point? At what point is he grown? But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna pray for Amanda because I hate for people to be losing their livelihood or their way of taking care of themselves because they feel like they want to speak the truth and nobody wants to hear it. They want to hush over the shit. Okay. Speaking of you know, shit. First of all, let's talk about Blue Ivy, and then we're gonna get into Jay-Z because I want to get into Jay-Z. Let me tell y'all something. There was nothing wrong with the way Blue Ivy looks. She looked beautiful. She's 12, but she's tall. There's nothing wrong with what she had on. She looks good. She looks great. It's how she looks. I think she's beautiful. Jay-Z. I think she's a beautiful young woman. I don't know why y'all were tripping out. I don't know why. It's like, look how tall she is. At 12, y'all. Look how tall she is at 12. She's beautiful. And I want y'all to let her be however she is. Leave her alone. Stop doing what y'all always do to Black girls. And criticize them about every fucking thing that they do. I hadn't really heard it either until today. I thought everybody said she looked beautiful. I thought the gown was gorgeous. Gorgeous, girl. All right. So let's go ahead and get to Jay-Z. Ready for it? Yeah. East side nigga with that east side nigga with that east side. Oh, okay. I'm so upset about this. I love Jay-Z. Bitch, I am so upset about this. I love Jay-Z. Like, as a rapper. Like, I love his music. And I have for quite some time now. Probably just a Black album. Just a Black album, I've been on him heavy. Like, he's one of my tops. You know what I'm saying? Like, him, Biggie, Big Crit, roots. You know what I mean? Like my top or whatever. You know what I mean? And that's not even the women, okay? Because if y'all seen how much I listen to Meg Thee Stallion, it's ridiculous. That's why I'd be like, nah, y'all don't be listening to people's music. Anyway, so y'all, we talked about how Jay-Z was accused of being involved with the assault of a 13-year-old girl back in 2000 with the diddler, okay? And I think because of that, I'm going to run my intro.
I'm a savage. Whatever I want, I'm going to get. Whatever I want, I have to get.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
I'm a savage. Whatever I want, I'm going to get.
Okay. So I'm going to read his response and I'm going to break it down how I think about it. I've read this already. So, oh my God, I'm so disappointed. Okay. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Statute of limitations for criminal has gone out. I think you know that. I think you know that. I also think you know it's hard to prove something criminally that happened 24 years ago. I think you know that too. So that was for the public's benefit. Let's continue. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? Again, that's for the public. You know what's real about this situation. These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. Okay, so we're automatically saying that the victims aren't real. Got it. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Buzbee, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. Now, Jay-Z, baby, let me remind you, you are the same undignified, disrespectful ass nigga from the late 90s and the early 2000s. I just want to be clear. You have grown into this Basquiat version of yourself. Yes, indeed. I listen to your music, so I know there's been growth. But I also listen to your music, so I know whatever grandstanding you doing right now is not playing to me in the way that you think it's playing. And I said that. I said he's just going to say something that sounds like the smarter version of what Diddy came out and said. And then the fact that he responded personally is another thing. Like, okay, let me continue. My only heartbreak is for my family, my wife. See, that first thing about that thing about saying you have no honor or dignity, it implies that he has honor and dignity. That's what it implies. So then when you go from this is a black man, okay, he didn't say black man yet, but just the fact that you know this is a man who is now presenting himself to have honor and dignity. Next paragraph is my only heartbreak. So now I've set you up to know what type of person I want you to think I am. And now I'm about to play on that. I'm about to play on your emotions by using my family, i.e. Diddy. He's a good dad. He's a great dad. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. Let's be very clear, Jay-Z, you've done worse shit. I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, the 13-year-old girl thing, fine. But a lot of them other girls were young. Aaliyah was young. Foxy was young. Beyonce was young. And you was still an old nigga. It's something about that the girl 19 and the man is 27 trifecta. I don't know. It's something, not a trifecta, but that situation with that age differentiation, something about that. I think you really get them girls locked in when they 19 and you 27 or 28. Either way, I feel like when I say you done worse shit, I mean, when we were growing up and we were young, the shit that Jay-Z and them were rapping about was definitely being given to teenagers. Like, you were young, committing crimes and felonies and shit, having sex. You were a grown man having sex with young girls. So, like, yeah, now you have your own kids. It changes your perspective. I'm sure of it. But at the same time, it does lend to you not being honest in the way you're writing this. Because if we being fucking real, you know that you've already probably had to talk to your daughter about cheating scandals. You've had to talk to your daughter about being a drug dealer. Maybe you've had to talk to your daughter about shooting somebody, stabbing somebody. Like, there are other things you've done that will require a conversation where you're not going to come out smelling like a rose. So to then put that in this, it is simply a ploy to gain sympathy. But he does it in a much more intelligent way, if you will. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. That line really got me. You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. I would love for Wayne and for Jigga to realize they are no longer young. Yes, you are forever young in spirit, but nigga, by age, y'all is 40, 50 years old. There's no more young in that. Okay? Not the way y'all trying to make it seem. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes in honor. Do we? We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Do you protect children, Jay-Z? Did you protect Cassie? Because Cassie was 19 years old, and I'm more than sure you knew that Diddy was abusive. Did you ever step in and protect anybody? I don't know. That would be an interesting story to hear. But I find it hard to believe just based off of the way hip hop rolls in general. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake psychics, I think he meant psychics, I think that says physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me. If not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. Yeah. I think that's real cute to say now. Then it seems as if Mama Tina Knowles accidentally or on purpose liked the post saying that Sean Jay-Z Carter and Sean Diddy Combs are accused of arming a 13-year-old girl at an after party following the 2000 Video Music Awards. Miss Tina came out and said, child, if it was me and it's uncharacteristic of me, it was a hack. That's what it was. It was a hack. And now they're questioning if the NFL should separate themselves from Jay-Z. And I think that's so funny. Like, I think that's so funny. You know why? Because I think there are other CEOs, other men involved in the NFL, whether they are owners of teams or involved in, CEOs or just the businessmen involved in the paper and the moving and the decision making. Those people probably have civil suits all the time. And I think that to take this approach so early on is kind of low key putting the cart before the horse a little bit. And also, I think it's kind of bullshitty. Like, it's kind of like, really, Jay-Z's the only one a part of the NFL network in some way or another that has a civil suit against him? I fucking doubt it. I fucking doubt it. So that whole thing was just like, y'all really want to get that man out that position, huh? Real mad about this Super Bowl shit. Okay. Tina said, I don't play about my fam. I was hacked. As you all know, I do not play about my family. So if you see something uncharacteristic with me, just know that it's not me. How you got your page back so quick? I think why she couldn't just say I liked it by accident? Because sometimes that might happen. Jay-Z's lawyer asked judge to speed up the process of the lawsuit against him. Due to the highly sensitive nature of this matter and the intense media scrutiny it has generated, we respectfully request to be heard on an expedited basis. So now they're trying to rush it because this actually probably could affect his standing with the NFL. And I believe that's extremely like money-wise. Yeah, I think that's a big deal for him, right? So he was at the red carpet, of course, being a family man. Okay. Just like when the shit came out about Diddy and his ass was in Japan with Beyonce, all orchestrated, very intentional, very mindful, very demure. Okay. Let me see. Jay-Z's lawyer alleges an anonymous woman has come forward and alleged that Tony Buzbee's law firm dropped her as a client for refusing to fabricate claims about being drugged and assaulted. I saw one like this. There was another story that was put out about Tony Buzbee before Jay-Z came out, and it was related to Diddy. Somebody was accusing him of something. And I'm like, he's a lawyer. Like, nobody trusts fucking lawyers. Attorney Tony Buzbee is facing a federal lawsuit from a former client who accuses him of using loan shark tactics in personal injury case. Matthew Ray Thompson Jr., the plaintiff, claims that after Buzbee filed the lawsuit on his behalf, payments intended for him were sent directly to Buzbee's firm. Instead of receiving the full amount, Thompson alleges Buzbee withheld more than 60% and charged him high interest rates on funds he loaned him. Thompson also argues in a complaint that Buzbee's practice of taking large cuts is not an isolated incident, pointing to similar accusations recently made by Jay-Z. The rap star accused Buzbee of using threats and public pressure to enrich himself at the expense of his clients. However, I still feel like that's kind of low-key a normal occurrence. He's probably fucking over his clients, but going to Jay-Z with the, if you don't want this story to come out, pay the settlement is normal practice. So them acting like that's a smoking gun is wild to me. Like, that's usually how that shit goes. In addition to bringing forth a suit against Jay-Z, Buzbee is representing several individuals suing Sean Diddy Combs over abuse. Man, you better hope they got the fucking evidence, because, I mean, honestly, there were enough people with actual facts, Cassie and all of them. And I say all of them because I'm talking about Dawn, I'm talking about Rodney, that actually had evidence that got him arrested by the FBI. That shit, I feel like, is 100%. When it comes to these civil cases, that's what you might have to worry about. But people are conflating the two. There are a lot of people that feel like because Tony Buzbee is, sketchy lawyer, that he's not going to be able to fight this case, and none of those people are going to be able to get anything from Diddy. I don't think they're going to be able to get anything from Diddy anyway, because most of Diddy's money is about to be tied up on this other shit. He got kids, he got expenses, he got shit that he already got to pay for while still in jail, and he got them fucking lawyers' fees. Cassie, however much money he had to give her, whatever might happen with Rodney and Dawn. So at the end of the day, I feel like when the FBI went and picked that nigga up and put him in jail and say he not getting out, that means we have evidence on him to charge him with the RICO charge. All of that other shit is separate. So I need for y'all to understand, just because Tony Buzbee may be faulty and the people he may be presenting may be faulty, it doesn't mean that Diddy isn't guilty of what he's accused of by the FBI. I just want to be very clear, because a lot of y'all are misunderstanding that part. Okay. Okay. So now that we talked about the Jay-Z portion, and I'm just gonna say, y'all, Jay-Z wants woman accusing him of art in lawsuit to reveal her identity. Same thing that Diddy did. He's literally doing some of the same things that Diddy did. And I can't necessarily say that 100% makes him look guilty to me. But I do think that Jay-Z has done things that will probably come back to haunt him in one way or another. And you can change your life and be different, but sometimes the scars you leave are the scars you leave. The damage that you've done, whether you progress beyond it, is still, you know what I'm saying? Like it can still be that. But anyway, if Buzbee had video evidence of Jade raping someone, and then of course he would have settled. Also, why settle if you're innocent and a billionaire? But also, Diddy wasn't innocent. He's a billionaire, and he didn't settle either. Because he thought he thought that nothing was gonna come out. So what I'm saying is his guilt, none of this means he's guilty or innocent. But I will say that for me, it is definitely a red flag the way he is handling the situation. And we'll just see how it all plays out. We'll see how it all plays out. I think Buzbee said that people have been following him and shit like that. Like, I definitely think that they're probably threatening him and things of that nature. Like, Jay-Z ain't no fucking punk. And when I say that, I mean, when I tell you I listen to his music, I listen to the way he thinks. And I think not only is he smart and sharp and patient about the way he'll handle things sometimes, but that makes him even more nefarious to me. I think there's a switch. I think there is a light, cool side to him, and I think there's an asshole, fucked up version of him. The shit I heard about that he did to Maya, the things that he, did with Eve, like, it shows that there is one side of him that is not as secure as he presents himself to be. And because of that, I can't 100% say that I don't believe these allegations against him. I just can't, because I remember what he was like back in the day. And Jigga was a fucking asshole. So yeah, you Basquiat and you got Beyonce and beautiful babies and billions of dollars now. We're supposed to forget all of the years of you wearing, tall tees and talking about smacking bitches and actually doing it on camera. But, we'll see. But this is one of the people that is suing Diddy. And I remember listening to this story because this was about another employee. And this is where I feel like Diddy is really going to get fucked up. It may not be on all of these random people and shit, but it's something about him and the employees doing shit to the employees around. Because Christian has a similar situation with an employee
to work security at one of the infamous white parties that was thrown by Sean Combs in the Hamptons. What was that?
He basically, I feel like, tried to ruin Maya's career because she didn't want to be with him. Go look up Maya speaking on Jay-Z. I think it's on Vlad.
Experience like?
At first, he was incredibly friendly, very gracious.
So you had a friendly chat, and then, according to your lawsuit, at some point later in the night, Sean Combs himself offered you a drink. This didn't come from staff or someone holding a tray of drinks. It came from him directly.
Correct. The first drink started to have some effect on me. And I just thought, wow, these are really strong drinks. It wasn't until the second drink and it was already too late.
Okay. We ain't got to go through all of this, but I'll basically just finish it because I want to respond to this comment before it floats away. Eve did speak positively. She told people to stop reaching. If that's what she said, she's full of shit. To be clear, I read Eve's book. Eve said that when her album was about to come out, Jay-Z called her and told her it's good, but don't get too excited because female rap albums don't usually do that good. So don't get too excited. It was along the lines of something he did to somebody else. But he like back in the day, he would just randomly call people, and I feel like fuck with their confidence, fuck with their head. Like that with that. And then with Maya, I think it was a situation with a song with the y'all know the Best of Me song. It was something with that shit. But he absolutely, it seems as if she was saying because she did not want to fuck him, he tried to ruin her career, which is why she eventually ended up going independent. Yes. And I'm sorry, but the best of me is the one with Beanie Siegel. Right? That was Beanie Siegel, right? I don't want to get the best of you. Ha. No, it wasn't. That wasn't Big Thing. Oh, no, Jadakiss. It was Jadakiss. I can't let it go on. Can't let you get. Oh no. He has a little game that he plays, clever little ways and a high boy style. Brags about the dough that he makes. Flash a little cash, most girls wow out. Lately he's been checking for me, telling me how much he wants to be the one to replace the man that waits at home for me. But oh no, I can't let you get the best of me, even though deep inside, God, the shit. Oh my God. That was my shit. I'm going to do this just like Tony did it to Frank, but I'm going to make sure both of y'all win. Let them keep the place. You move and I'm going to pay both of y'all rent. So forget about the condo and come to the crib, because the castle over the mountain come with a bridge. You know, literally, we can go shopping in Italy. Hand on the thigh. She ain't want to get rid of me. And she don't drink or know how L looks. Chanel mixed with the Peter Nail look. You just stay, I rented the city when I whip the V. You can hold a joint if you with me. Vacation costs $150. I'm living it up. I put it on your ass if you giving it up. And you know I'm not a hater. And if you feel bad, then you call them on later and tell them you all jaders. That was my shit. Okay. My and Eve's interpretation of that was him telling her, don't get down on herself if the numbers don't. Yeah, no, I don't think that's what she was saying, because she said it pissed her off. It fueled her. She remembered him calling her, and that's why a lot of the things she did was almost to prove him wrong. I don't think initially that's how she felt. I think that's a cute way to sum it up now. But I think back then she felt like he was trying to fuck with her. I do. I feel like he was trying. She's not the only person to say that Jay-Z had called them on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying. But if you was actually like listening to the part where she was saying how she did a lot of what she did to prove him wrong, like, you know, when that sophomore album come up and everybody was acting like she wasn't gonna, you know, be able to top her first album, but then she got her Grammy off the second album. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think now you can look at it and be like, oh, he was telling her to manage her expectations. Yeah, sure. But at the time, I feel like she said it made her mad and it gave her fuel to prove him wrong. And of course, over time, their relationship changes. But I have to think about, why the fuck did he think he needed to tell her to manage her expectations? Can y'all tell me that? She didn't know him and he didn't know her. He called her out the blue to tell her that. The fuck? And she still went number one, if I recall. So to me, he was being an asshole. And it just so turned out that eventually they had a good relationship. But he was being an asshole. Why the fuck you calling me, telling me how to manage my expectations? I don't need to manage my expectations, nigga. This album gonna do what it's gonna do, and I'm gonna have whatever high hopes I have, regardless to what the fuck you talking about. Okay. And MIA said that Jay-Z told her to get plastic surgery. I believe her. I believe her. What type of nigga says that shit to a woman? I'm not saying that. Who said being a jerk equals to being an artist? Nobody said that. Nobody said that. But it also doesn't make me view you as somebody with the integrity you claim to have, as he said in his statement, the way he was trying to present himself. Those things don't go together. But, you know, we'll pontificate on this further as time goes on.
Man, saved my life. The internet was trying to kill me, though. The internet said that Puffy tried to kill me. That's what the internet was saying. I know what you're thinking. Did he? Hell no, nigga. I left them parties early. I was out by 9, nigga. Something don't look right, nigga.
The floors are slippery here. Okay. So I love Jamie, and I always have. Whether he was, I mean, I liked Katie Holmes. I felt like Katie Holmes needed to be freed from Tom no, not Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise. Like Katie needed to be freed from Tom Cruise. It was a running joke that lady was being held prisoner by him and the Scientology people. So it really did seem like Jamie came in and saved that white lady life. Okay, freedom. But I'm gonna tell y'all, Jamie Foxx his special on Netflix was really good. I was very emotional. Between him and Andrea, I was very emotional last night watching them both. It was funny. It was funny in such a good way. I feel like I haven't laughed like that from watching somebody special in a minute. Jamie just always has it to me. And then also I felt like it was kind of low-key looking in the mirror because Jamie does some of the same things that I do as far as singing and then just quoting movies out of nowhere. And I just love that. I love that he's so talented. I love that he was so grateful. He was so grateful. He was very emotional. He cried a bunch of times, and it was hard for me not to cry. People in the audience was crying. His daughter, he told the story about what happened to him, and I'm not going to kill it for y'all, but at some point his daughter comes out and performs with him, and it was very, very emotional, and he looked good. You know what I'm saying? His freckles was looking all good and shit. His timing was good. Like it was great. If you get a chance to watch it, absolutely watch it. I'm so glad that Jamie Foxx is back. I'm glad that he felt like the first thing he needed to do upon coming back was go back to comedy. He's needed in that space. Because I feel like comedians these days, it's almost as if they don't know how to be funny without being extremely offensive. And it's also like they're angry about something and their performance is more so a depiction of them trying to make you laugh at their anger. Like it's weird. So y'all should definitely check out Jamie's Netflix special. It was very emotional. I don't want to do any spoilers for y'all, but I do think it was just
Jamie
good.
Foxx.
It was perfect. It was perfect for the holidays as far as I'm concerned, because it was just very family oriented and emotional. So last thing. All right. Last thing. I'm gonna this quick little like the video. We're gonna talk about Andrea Kelly and I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here. Okay. Where's my link the video? And don't forget the Ooh Ladies First panel is tonight on Niecy's channel. All right. So Drea Kelly gave one of the most honest interviews I think she has ever given before. And I say this because I've interviewed Andrea Kelly before. I've seen her talk about a lot of things. I like Andrea Kelly. I follow her. I've always been somewhat like, what's going on there? Like, sometimes I feel like she plays into the antics. That shit with Cisco. She never said anything about Cisco during that interview. And I really thought she was going to, because I was like, see, why you not saying nothing about the Cisco situation where you was talking about it like he was your man or something. And then he came out and said that, no, that's not the case. That shit was very weird. And you defended him and the way you was, it was just, I don't know. It was just very weird to me. I didn't know what the fuck was going on with that, but I wish she would have clarified, because I think some of us that don't always believe the shit Andrea says, or, we might think she a little, flicked, a little funny, but not in a bad way. Like, she's an amazing dancer. She's an amazing talent. I think she's a beautiful woman. She has an amazing body. Like, she looks great for her age. A little bit of a bobblehead there, but still a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? And I did feel like she was being abused by Robert Kelly. I did feel like that. But one of the things I wanted to discuss was how she felt about, and I just want to say, I don't feel like she was talking to me. I've never gone into Drea Kelly's comments talking shit to her, but I have felt like when you've been asked questions right out, your inability to answer the question straight for whatever reason is what makes people question you. I remember asking what was going on when Robert married Aaliyah. because you had to be in the picture. He's been with you since you were 19. And, you know, during that time, during his shows and performances and all of that, like, was that during the Aaliyah time? Like, I was trying to get a timeline. And I remember asking her about it, and she did not want to answer. This was during the time that she was on that reality show. Okay. And she just went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You know, she does a lot of the church talk and the God talk, which sometimes is just a way for people to remove themselves from having to answer a question. And I feel like that's what she did. So we fast forward to this. In the beginning of the interview, I was like, am I going to be able to deal with this? You know, it was very much, oh, I know how to speak in tongues at an early age, and I see dead people, and I don't dispute anybody's gifts, because everybody has their gifts and, you know, whatever they have inside of themselves. I'm not disputing it. But the way it was said and how fast she was talking, like, it definitely was giving, child, I don't know where this is going to go. But she explains her childhood. She explains her grandparents being in an abusive relationship in front of her, her mom being a narcissist and being abusive, and what that means to then go and be in a relationship with an abusive person. And how powerful he is. She likened herself to Cassie. They still had stupid people in the comments talking about, yeah, but Cassie, she knew what she was like. No, like, y'all really have no concept of how stupid y'all sound sometimes when y'all act as if abuse victims can just walk away from extremely rich men. That's literally the reason why it's hard to do it, because they're rich. Not because, oh, you just so comfortable with the money, because for a lot of women, at some point, that shit don't mean nothing. It means nothing. And she said it. She said, I had every Chanel bag. She said, I had all of the jewelry and everything, and didn't even have a fucking debit card. She had no control of the money whatsoever. She was very much locked in a room. At one point, she said some shit that really took me out. And she glazed over it, but I heard it. Being hogtied and blindfolded in a bedroom and hearing the door open and not knowing who's coming in and out. Which makes me feel like he invited other people to have sex with her, either while she was drugged, drunk, or tied up and blindfolded. And that doesn't surprise me, because I'm not going to feel like, oh, you would have treated your wife much better than you treated any of these other women. But it's just wow. Just fucking wow. And so when I say somebody that would do that to anybody will do that to anybody, and then we find out that he did something to the daughter. And this is when shit really gets fucked up, right? Because Carlos asked about the daughter. And because y'all know recently the daughter was on the documentary about him and basically said that she woke up to him touching her when she was spending the night by him after they were going through their divorce, their separation. And Andrea says, I'm going to let my daughter speak for herself, but I do remember what I think she's talking about. She called me one night, hysterical, and I'm thinking that somebody with him, somebody at the house, had touched her. I didn't think that he had done it. But I go to the police. The police say that because of y'all's custody agreement, you can't go and get her. If you go there, he can say that you're trespassing. He can shoot you. He can call the police, and we'll have to come and arrest you. And even if we do call the police, your daughter calls the police to have them to come and get her out of the house, they're not going to return her to your custody. They're going to put her in child protection services. So she really made it clear how hard it was for her, because she did not have access to money. He was already abusing her as well. And when she finally did up and leave, the court system decided that him abusing her didn't mean that he couldn't be around the children. And I've always thought that that's insane that y'all think that way. Oh, he just abused the woman. He didn't abuse the kids. A man that's abusing the woman is abusing the kids. Subjecting the kids to abuse is abuse. Stupid. But it was so funny to me during this entire interview, and I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but it was crazy for me how Carlos had to keep saying that now he gets it. Now he gets it. So that what? you can act like you didn't know what was going on with Melody when Martell was doing some of those same things to her. And yeah, Martell wasn't like, you know, on the level of R. Kelly or anything, but definitely abusing and sending videos, sexual videos of him and his wife out to various people, like trying to destroy her in whatever manner, y'all. That was still abuse. And then trying to take the kids away from her, allegedly abusing the son. The judge telling Melody that she could not talk to Martell up until recently, even though he was harassing her, because it didn't matter that he was harassing her, that he was abusing her. It just mattered that he hadn't done anything to the kids, so you say. Then he did do something to the kid. The judge instructed him that he needed to go through counseling, and he said no. So I'm just saying, like, speaking on the interview as a whole, I clocked the way I feel like he was thinking about his Love and Marriage Huntsville cast during this interview. There was another moment that I recorded and sent to the Discord where he was talking about, well, Andrea is talking about what it's like to be R'd by your spouse. Coercion or the makeup sex that you don't really want, but you feel like you have to have. And he brings up how somebody, you know, he was just around somebody and, you know, the woman says, child, if he wanted and you don't want it, just pray it's over fast. And, you know, we always thinking about Kimmy. Like in my mind, instantly, I was like, he must be talking about Kimmy. Because we know Kimmy is one of the, you know, somebody that has professed to not want to have sex, physically not wanting to have sex. It doesn't matter that mentally she wanted to rise to the occasion, because I feel like that's a form of mind control and abuse as well, to put the fear that if you don't give me the, you know, allotted amount of coochie that I want, I'm going to go and cheat on you. And so therefore she puts it in her mind that she never wants him to go, you know, beyond a certain amount of time without sex, because then she has to worry about him cheating on her. And then you're forcing yourself to have uncomfortable sex during cancer treatments so that you can keep this man. Andrea described that as a form of abuse. But let's talk about this last name thing.
Me on stage with him. Every tour he's ever been on, that's me on stage with him. So I really don't feel like I owe anybody a goddamn explanation about me and what I do. But for those who choose not to do the research and they are quick to say, well, she kept the last name. And then people say, well, Tina Turner did too. And they say, well, Tina Turner brought something to the table. You don't even know what I do. You don't even know what.
Whoever said that is just being a troll. And you should be ignoring them and blocking them from your fucking page, because essentially, I don't know who doesn't know that she was the choreographer for his tours and was dancing in a lot of the videos and a lot of the shows. Like, it's been in documentaries, it's been all over the place. I don't know why you don't know who she is and what she does and how she was, you know, influential to his career. But either way, she shouldn't have to explain that to anybody. I personally felt like it might have freed you from some of the constant recognition of who you are and who you're related to if you and your children had a different last name. But that's also your decision.
My profession is. And at the end of the day, how do I bring a table when I am the table? I don't have to bring anything that I am. At the end of the day, I'm the table. I'm the knife, fork, spoon, plates, food, everything we eating on it, the dessert, the food fight, and the cleanup after. I bought a whole womb. I birthed children. So for women to even say something like that is sad to me, because that means that you totally negate and discount a woman's position as a wife and a mother.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
That is one of the most selfless jobs you will ever do that you will never get credit for. And because you can't clock what I do, because you haven't done your research, you think it's okay to go on the internet and say, she don't do nothing. Tina Turner did something. The only difference between me and Tina Turner is she sang on the stage with Ike. I danced on one with Robert.
And her star eclipsed his, in my opinion. Your star doesn't eclipse Robert's, but I don't think he eclipsed hers either. She's still been able to do exactly what she does. So, which is dance.
So people have commented that your kids are grown. Why do you still carry R. Kelly's last name? Due to the fact that you know what he's in jail for. Your kids are grown. Girl, you don't need it. How do you feel when people say that?
what you feel. I don't. At the end of the day, I earned this name in blood, sweat, and tears. It's my kid's name. And my analogy is this. When all the shit hit the fan, how would you feel if your name is Brown and your kid's name is Brown and your family goes through something and you tell your kids, oop, you were Brown by yourself. I'm up. I don't want, no. If my kids have to go.
No, we change everybody's name. In all honesty, I would have changed my kid's name for their protection. So like if I had kids in school when all of this shit is happening, I'm changing their names. Like they're going to go to a school where nobody knows that they're Robert Kelly's children.
Go through it as Kelly, they mama going through it as Kelly. If you had to put up with the bullshit as Kelly, I'm gonna make sure that I take the tarnish off this name and you live and celebrate the name Kelly. At the end of the day, people shouldn't be worried about why I kept the last name. They should be worried about what I do with the last name, because the last name Kelly gets 2020 to follow me. The last name Kelly gets me on CNN to talk.
And see this part right here, I agree with her right to do whatever it is she wants to do. I want to say that compassionately. Okay, because after what this woman has been through, I can't tell her what to do with her fucking name. But what I will say is, I feel like had she changed her name, all of those people still would have wanted to talk to her, because your life is your life and your story is your story. And you could have been Drea Williams or you know something else, child. You could have made up a fucking name, and you and your kids could have decided that y'all wanted a different name and chose a name together, and then went and got y'all names changed so y'all would no longer be attached to him. But there's a part of you, and I understand this, that is happy about his legacy as an artist, appreciates his legacy as an artist, because it makes her children talented. It was a way for her to express her own artistry. It is something that they all loved, like as a family, the music. And so I do feel like I understand to a degree the side of that as well. You know what I mean? Like I am connected to the legacy of his music, and I don't want to lose the connection to that, because it was meaningful for me as being a part of the process of creating it, and also historically in our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't stand that fucking Happy People song in my head right now. Yeah, yeah. People moving. I got one more for y'all. Hold up. All right. Now, if you want to step, gotta play by the rules.
It was that
okay, so I'm about to
bad. Have drugs of God.
Y'all, why my dog like this? Hold on. Y'all, he in the background. I'm trying to watch the video. He in the background. He wasn't even asleep, but he loves to just breathe all hard and shit. I just got him a new bed, and I think he like it, because when I went downstairs, that nigga was literally like just laying in the bed, like just sitting in it, cage door open, just sitting in his new bed. I'm like, look at you, old ass man. Okay, hold up, y'all. I want to find the interview and then go. Child, she said that the reason why he got Grammys was because of her. Okay, listen, I ain't gonna dispute it. I do feel like when men have something to ground them, people, period, when you have somebody that grounds you, it's easier to make your best work.
In the car with her baby daddy, her.
You put that up. Okay. A final straw was.
Hold up.
Well, so how do the imaginary ones in the back work? Mom, he's boys. I don't have my computer. Like, I believe that's the night that it happened. She called me hysterical, like, mama, come get me. I want to.
Yeah, I told you.
And people actually attack me on social media and say I knew, and how could a mom, and you didn't do anything. I did everything that I could. Just to have the police tell me I could do nothing.
This part right here.
And my baby carried that pain around for years.
This part right here, y'all.
To protect me.
Hard.
So don't tell me what I didn't do for my baby. Don't tell me what I didn't do as a mother when you don't know shit about me.
I really want y'all to get out that lady comments. I do.
What happens when a woman?
Like, wow. What people don't understand. How do you have an attorney that tells you, a victim, that if you ever mention him as your abuser, that he could sue you and you could face jail time. How is it even legal to have an NDA to cover a crime?
She's talking about the way his business management and the record label helped to basically squash her out.
So then they just sign their paper and put it in contempt. Clean hands and a pure heart.
Okay,
it's healthy that at least one weekend out the month you take some time.
This is the part where she really get real, right quick, right fast. And this is just for everybody.
Don't know why, and I want to kill that man. So that's why I say, we're so impressed about people's labels and what they got. And those are some of the most unhappy people in the world. Me, I have pure joy now. And I think that's another thing that people just hate about me. Well, she's so happy. Well, if it was that bad, I have joy because I have God. That's the one thing he was never able to take around. And little boys pull our hair, or they kick us, or they tease us.
Here you go.
That will ever bring me this joy.
I want to ask you two things I'm going to move on to from this. Number one, what is the number one sign that women can see that is a telltale sign that this man is a potential abuser?
Ooh, there's so many, but I would say the main one is women need to know the difference between compromise and sacrifice.
Boom.
They don't even know what it is.
Because
as a little girl, well, first of all, let me take it way back. As women, we're conditioned to believe that love is violent. And I'm gonna tell you why. When we're little and we're on the playground and little boys pull our hair, or they kick us, or they tease us, or call us fat, or you're ugly, and you tell your teacher it hurts my feelings, what's the first thing they tell little girls? He's doing that because he like you. He just picking on you because he like you. As little girls, we've been conditioned to believe that men and boys show us love through violence. And little boys are conditioned to believe that you have to be violent to show woman love. It's sick. So that's why I say a lot of people who are in it don't even realize they're in it, because we've been conditioned since we're little to be in it. The second thing is we don't know the difference between compromise and sacrifice, because we're told, girl, when that, ooh, honey, you married, you ain't gonna be able to dress like that no more. Ooh, girl, you married, you ain't gonna be able to hang with your friends like you used to no more. Girl, you married, that man gonna want you to stay in the house. So they're teaching women to sacrifice of self. They don't teach you a healthy man doesn't mind you having your own friends. A good compromise is, now, girl, when you get married, every weekend can't be ladies' night, can't be girls' night out. But it's healthy that at least one weekend out the month, you take some time for you and your girls. And girl, you still dress sexy, but when you with your husband, you want to be mindful. But when you with your girls and you want to be cute, and baby, you better be cute for him. Show him your titties sometimes. We're not taught that as women. We're told once you get with a man, you must sacrifice all that is you to keep him happy. So now you're in an abusive relationship and he wants you to sacrifice yourself for him. Give up your friends, give up your family. You're not going to school. I'm the provider. Change the way you dress. You're not going out. I don't like your best friend, that she can't come around. We don't know the difference.
Yes.
Because everything that big mama, auntie, friends have told us is, he's going to have these set of rules for you when you get married, boo, and you better follow him if you want to keep him. Ooh, and honey, don't be doing no complaining, because at least he pay all the bills. You got a roof over your head. Well, controlling men do that too. Mine paid all the bills. I had a roof over my head, but couldn't even take my ID to the bank and get money out to leave him.
You're breaking generational curses right now.
Yes.
I everything you said, I receive it. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to go.
My volume is already turned up.
With detail. Somebody was told recently that I've witnessed, when your man wants, ask God for the courage to withstand it if you don't want it. And everybody in the room said,
so the term for that is marital. It is a real thing. I was in counseling for a very long time, Dr. Linda Randall, and she said, one day, Drea, you're going to find the courage to say I was by my husband. And I'm like, girl, now you done went too far. She said, I want you to look up the definition. Is without consent, coercion, if violence is used against you. And I'm like, oh, I've been that and then some. I've been hogtied by this man. I've been blindfolded, had people come in the room, don't know if it's a man or a woman. When I say I have been through it, Carlos, but still in my mind, society makes women think that you can't be by your husband. You can't be by your fiance. And then I ask women, how many times have you been by him and you say you don't like it, but he said he a freak and it turns him on? How many times have y'all been in a volatile situation or grabbed you? And we actually coined this term, makeup sex. How many times, women? How many times? And it just escalates from there. How many times through coercion have you told a man you don't want to do it with him, and he will use this psychology on you? Well, at least I'm asking you. I could be out there cheating and asking another woman. I'm trying to share this experience with you, and you in here tripping. It ain't like I'm doing it behind your back. I'm trying to have you involved so you know what's going on. And the whole time, I don't want to do it. I don't see what the big deal is. Coercion, trying to convince you to do something that you've already said you don't want to do. Now, if it was somebody outside of your husband and you went into a courtroom and said, yeah, he strangled me, immediately done. We're not going to sit here and question that.
But when it's your husband,
When it's your
details.
husband, your fiance,
Yeah.
your boyfriend, we don't even give women that.
So yeah, that's the part I wanted to play, and y'all can go listen to the rest on y'all own. This is Carlos King's YouTube channel. It was a really great interview, and she really dived deeply into her psyche and understanding where she comes from, and just kind of laid things to be a little bit more clear than she had in the past. But I've always believed that Drea was abused, because there's no way that she wasn't being abused. Somebody like R. Kelly does not abuse all of those different women and then not abuse his wife. I also feel like a lot of the times the person closest to them gets the worst treatment, the worst of it, even if they don't say it. And so yeah, I feel like what she said in that moment was 100% the truth. And I saw somebody in the comments say they never met a man like that. I was like, I've met many. You ain't never met a man. I've met many. And it's not even just about, oh, they take care of you. Sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's not even about, oh, he make all the money, he take care of you. It's not even about that. It's about having and keeping a man. Because if you don't have and or keep a man, somebody in your life, some old woman in your family is going to make you feel like less than about it. You ain't got no man. Where your man at? Y'all do that shit online. I have said consistently how I know that my opinion would not be as respected as it is if it were not for the fact that I've been married for 8 years. Like, and a lot of people say, you know, I know there are some of y'all that will respect me either way and hear me out either way, but my pattern of thinking doesn't coincide. It's not cohesive with the way that wives think about marriage and how they pedestalize that position and they put their husband above them. I don't live like that. I refuse to live like that. I will be in a partnership. I'll be in an egalitarian situation where you take care of me and I take care of you, but you are not my fucking owner. I refuse. So because I never felt comfortable with some of that shit, I talk a certain way and I have certain, ideals about things y'all have heard me talk about, and people will assume, oh, you must be a baby mama. Oh, you must ain't got no man. Oh, this, oh, that. And couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be further from the truth. We take great care of each other around here. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I just kind of feel like, yeah, no, I know. Because if I didn't have my actual life, you would think differently of me. You would think, oh, she just all angry or she don't like men. Y'all, a lot of y'all say that a lot. Oh, you don't like men. That's a lie. I usually prefer them. They're easier to deal with. Women are a fucking headache. I'm just being real. So much more to do when you got to deal with women, but you don't have the same threat of violence. The difference. Okay. But yeah, it was a great interview. She said a lot of smart things. She said a lot of things that made things clearer. And I do, no, you're just not male centered. I'm not. And I'm not going to be. I don't have a dick. There's no reason for me to be centering a man. I'm going to center myself. Okay. I'm just saying. That's crazy to me. All right. I'm going to look at the situation for what it is. I'm not going to be some woman that's always telling some girl to stay with some man. Be with some man. You need a man. No. Figure your own shit out. Do you like you? What do you like? The fuck? You can figure all that other shit out later. Only one Adrian. Hey, boo. Thank you for being a member for 35 months. Hey, Bonnie, did you receive my email? Come to I want to interview you for my message. No, I did not get the email. I will check it and send you a response. I met so many men like that. Thank God the women in my family didn't believe that the girl children would be beholden to a man's violence masquerading as love, And I feel like that was, that's as long as he ain't beating your ass every day. We'll work it out. It's fine. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed. This was a nice long live child. I'm gonna have to cut this one up. I love is you're transparent about your expectations. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the super chat. Yeah, like I learned a lot watching people be in toxic relationships and feeling like I'm not going through that. Like I learned a lot. Okay. But either way, y'all, that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I will see y'all tonight on the Ooh Ladies First panel with Niecy Dixon. I'll post the link shortly. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay. Y'all have a good rest of y'all evening. Bye. Oh yeah, make sure y'all follow Bondi Bites. Make sure you follow my other YouTube page where I post the clips from these lives. Okay. I love y'all. Have a good rest of y'all day. Bye.